spiritual seekers. Today we have the honor of introducing an incredible spiritual teacher, Agnes Lukacs. Agnes and I have known each other for years, and I deeply admire your dedication for your teachings and your awakening journey. My name is Pauline Iris, and I am the creator of this channel, Iris Rainbow Wave. And we share here knowledge and secrets about spiritual awakening. In this interview, the first episode of a series, we will delve into the life of a spiritual teacher and in today's world, its up and downs and challenges and opportunities and mystical secrets to inspire you, viewers. Agnes, could you please start by introducing yourself briefly?
Yes, thank you so much. I'm really, really honored that you have picked me to start the series with, and I'm so grateful and really looking forward to share and uplift those who are watching us today and later. And yeah, my journey started almost 20 years ago. It with some conspiracy theories. I was first time that I was exposed to that kind of knowledge. Exposed to before that I was just a normal 22 years old and person who just wanted to go party, and I was just wanting to earn more money so I can go travel more. Very, very normal desires. And then one day I was exposed to the truth about who we are and what's going on this planet, and that completely shook my world. I was like, oh my god, like what is really going on behind the scenes? What is that I've never heard about? So that's from where I date my whole questioning who I am and what I'm doing here, and what is beyond the normal mundane life, and what's my purpose, and like all these questions. And that kind of took me later on very unpredictable quests and journeys, and but this is how it all started. And then I spent, well, since then basically my whole life was about self mastery and trying to find the answers to all these questions. And you would ask, did you find the answers? Well, yes, but the more I was asking, the more I realized that it's a never ending journey, because the answer was always different depending on who was asking and where I was on my consciousness level at that time.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So you are a spiritual teacher. You can call it. How would you describe you in two
Right.
sentences?
Yes, I had a lot of different names that I gave myself
Hmm.
in these last 10 years, since I
Hmm.
have been helping others,
Hmm.
others to also find who they are. Uh, Lately, I call myself a coach and consciousness teacher,
Yes.
and I help other awakened souls to really step back into their power, so remember who they truly are and start living their lives through this unlimited consciousness of being a expansion of the source, and really bringing that into our 3D experience.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, what is interesting for us today in this channel is really to know, because we are not talking about it as spiritual teacher, is really what is the biggest challenge on your journey that you may have.
Wow, I almost even like just feeling chills when you ask that, because the biggest challenge is me facing my own limitations. And I realized that the moment I started this journey, I was just uncovering all the limitations that I have believed as as the character, as this ego mind identity. And my whole journey was about uncovering these, and it was about the struggle of facing them, facing my not enoughness, facing my unworthiness, facing my, especially these two, but actually there was everybody had, or we created these stories of the self very early in childhood. So my whole journey about becoming a spiritual teacher was me getting to know myself on deeper and deeper levels, and freeing myself from this story, in a, like, yeah, in a more and more accelerated, um, yeah, pace, I would say. So it's trying to find who the heck I am below all this stuff that I have put on top. And I would say that it took me a lot of years. So I'm happy to say that actually this year, 2024, was the year where I was able to completely go beyond that. And I'm happy to share later about this. But yeah, so it was struggle was really facing my own beliefs about who I think I am.
Yes, because this is a funny thing, right? You start to discover things. You already started your spiritual path. You already can teach others in some way. And at the same time, you have own limitations still coming to yourself that you
Yes.
have to resolve. And still, you have your people teaching your people. So it's like challenge as well for us. And for me as well, I want to hear from you, but the challenge of as well sometimes feeling alone, because you feel quite different, because you got already a lot of information. So we're like, whoa, okay, whoa, this is another dimension now. Did you have this challenge of feeling alone on your spiritual path?
That's a very good question. And I myself did not have that experience, because very early on, because I started to go to in person events at the very beginning of my journey, I started to be surrounded by people just like me who had the same interest. So
Hmm.
I started bonding with those kind of people who had the
Hmm.
same questions.
Hmm.
So that all these 20 years I was always surrounded, on and off, by people who are like-minded or were like-minded. And this pretty much the last 10 years, I have people who were always there, so we were growing together. But I know this is a huge challenge for a lot of people, because
Hmm.
they feel just so different from others, and maybe they don't have opportunity to go in places like this where they can find people who think the same way and believe the same thing. So I always say, go and find those communities. Now we have an amazing opportunity to do this online now, but I pretty much, because I was living in a capital city, for me there were more opportunities, and I was always looking for these opportunities. But lately I'm doing this also online, so you have this, um, this experience of being seen and heard and understood, and then you can really open up and share your challenges, and other people will recognize, and they say, oh my god,
Yeah,
this is exactly what I'm going through. Super, super important. But we have to start looking for them.
yeah. Now, this is a really good tip for the viewers as well, the spiritual teacher around us. Looking at this video is really to search for a community and people similar to us. I had a bit difficulties with that. I don't know why, where I was, and maybe sometimes as well alone. I like to be alone, but this is really a good tip, because I think it makes life much easier if you have
Oh
someone
yeah,
like you
absolutely.
understanding your trouble as well, sometimes being like, maybe not sure about the path and what should I do or not.
Yeah,
Yes,
especially
yes.
because we were a lot, like, when you have these kind of people, you keep sharing a lot, like, oh, have you read that book? I'm going to send it to you. Don't buy it, I'm going to share it with you. Or have you been done that course? Oh, I don't have the money. Well, it's no problem, let's split it in two. So there was like a lot of this type of help in my journey, that we supported each other even in this way. And of course, many times talking about what we have heard, where we've been, what we have experienced. And then because you do that, the other person's like, oh my God, I thought I'm crazy, but now that you're telling me that you've
Yeah.
done the same or been the same thing, it's this like acknowledging that you
Yes.
are not crazy. So
Yeah.
the more you acknowledge, the less you doubt, so the faster you expand.
Absolutely. This is really a good tip. Yeah, absolutely. Did you have as well the feeling, this is a feeling that I have, I want to hear about your experience of carrying a huge responsibility for the humanity? Because maybe you understood a lot of stuff there, here not, maybe not, but from some, so you have a really a feeling of having a huge responsibility and do I do enough? Did you have this experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a very multi-dimensional experience, because on one way you have this not enoughness that is kind of encoded in all of us, right? I haven't ever met anyone who was not in one way or another believing that it's not enough, like
Yeah.
not knowing enough, not being enough, not being this or that enough, smart enough, whatever. So
Yeah.
there's so many of us feel that, because we were conditioned into that, and believing that, so we make it part of who we are, our identity. And then when we are called into this spirituality and helping others, that shows up big way in trying to save others, because actually it's we wanting to save ourselves, so it kind of reflects into helping us believing that that kind of not enoughness will eventually come to feeling that we have done enough. So we have helped enough people, we have saved enough people, that we changed enough lives, and that's all feeding into our, well, unworthiness actually. So we're
Yeah.
trying to compensate for our unworthiness by
Yeah.
trying to save other people outside of us, which I
Hmm.
think, and I see this as a pattern for so many
Hmm.
psychologists, so many helpers of any kind, that it's the first kind of what fuels, right? It's that lack that fuels our action, and then that's why we feel like it's never enough, and you always have these like, I have to do more, I have to give more, I have to sacrifice more. But I'm going to later tell how this actually evolved, because I've been there for so many years believing that I need to do more and save more people.
This is good. We will come back to this question because I'm pretty sure that 100% of the spiritual teachers, like you say, the psychologists have this topic for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
it comes from a trauma. So I
Yeah.
haven't really met anyone, any helper who is not coming from trauma. So that's what it fuels us, right? So
Yeah.
we really have chosen to come into that in order to be fueled into growing, into curiosity, into trying to find the other extreme. So experiencing not being loved, which is obviously not true, but coming through that experience of the illusion of not being loved or not being accepted the way we are, uh, and because of that also not feeling safe and secure. And
Hmm.
then that is a huge lack that starts fueling the seeking for to see that, or to come into completion. So, and of course that's why all of us start the seeking, the spiritual journey, because we're looking for answers, we're looking for to feel that void inside of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because you will probably go back to that, but we decided to incarnate with these experiences because with these experiences, we are able to help others. And it's like a wheel, right? It's like,
Yeah, well, it's actually helping ourselves, but
yes,
but I
yes.
did not do this, and I did not see this in the way I see it now,
Mhm,
after now at the end of 2024.
mhm,
So,
mhm.
but yes,
And
so yeah.
Mhm.
I'm going to evolve this a little bit more later
Yes,
in the story. So
yes,
how that later evolved, or by now evolved to completely new perspective, because that's what was going on. We were this whole 20 years, and for all of our spiritual journey, or spiritual teachers, it's we like keep expanding into higher and higher levels of consciousness, which brings new perspective of understanding what the heck is going on.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, I have a topic I would like to talk with you. I can talk about everything, and I'm sure the viewers they will love it because I love to dig into things normally we don't talk about it, but I want to still, yeah, I want to speak about everything. So, the topic of spiritual teachers and money. So there is an ongoing discussion about the relationship between spiritual teachers and money, and can spiritual teacher ask for payment for their work? If so, how should they determine how too much to charge? This is one thing, but it's only a small part of the thing
Oh
because we have a lot of us. I mean, I am the same. We feel guilt when
yeah.
earning money while serving humanity. It's really, I think this is a topic like it was printed in us before we came on earth or something. I would like to ask you, what is your point of view about that?
Yeah. Ongoing struggle. But I believe right now that it's now seeing that our reality and our 3D reality life, and everything that's out there. Now I see that it's a on one 100% reflection of what we believe about ourselves. So
Mhm,
if if the person has unworthiness problems and not enoughness problems, you're going to have money problems as well, because money is nothing else but our own wealth, is our own worth, or
mhm,
that's how at least it shows up in our illusion game.
mhm,
So I see that, along these years when I was seeing, other spiritual teachers charging money for it, but amounts that I was like, oh, like how is that
mhm,
even possible that
mhm,
somebody even comes out with a number
mhm,
like that? All I was doing is I was showing myself that the permission, because those teachers were really believing that, well, this is how much it's worth what I know, even though we cannot put a label on it because it's worth everything. You are God, so there is no number in
yeah,
that, but yet you have to put something there. But if you really have a very, very, let's say, healthy belief about who you are, and that you deserve to live well, you deserve to live in abundance, you deserve to live and show your talents and gifts and be rewarded, uh, that exceeds your expectation, then you are able to really charge where it feels, where it aligns with that
mhm,
belief. But
mhm,
many of us, were having very, I would say, limiting belief, but we had stories that we are not worthy, that, it's just stories that we believed, and really it's really very subjective to the person, because, as I said, there was many who believed that they are not supposed to, and I don't know where we believed it from. We heard it somewhere,
mhm,
or whatever, but it's just a story. uh, but there were other teachers who did not believe that, and then they were very happy and they were charging. I remember one time, like 2 years back, when I was struggling still with, like, I feel that I'm charging not, too low, and then I can't make a living out of this, but I love so much this is the only thing I want to do, but like I cannot, make a living to really be able to feel safe and stable and secure. And then I saw, because it's my creation, right? I saw a teacher out there who more or less did the same thing that I was doing. And she offered a package of a 1 year with all her pre-recorded, workshops and courses that she offered, like 25 different courses to this person, and plus once a month, maybe, a one-on-one per month, a one-on-one. And she charged, like, I remember it was $250,000 for the package. So when I when I realized, like, oh my god, she's like, when you start asking, why is she, what is the
Mhm.
belief she has that she's able to ask 250,000
Yeah.
for one package, like maybe one person to work with for a year, and that was like, oh my god, that's only the belief, that she really
Mhm.
believes that that's how much these costs, and it's just a number. It's not a lot, it's not little, it's just a number that she feels confident with, and that's what she asks. And then guess what's going to happen? Because she feels that is okay, she's going to find people who are exactly matched to that belief and that experience. So I find it really interesting and curious that there is no one out there doing this to us. It's part of the journey to realize that you are creating your own limitations, and then
Yeah.
you're struggling with them.
Yeah, yeah. But do you think spiritual teacher should focus on manifesting money as part of their message and teaching?
If it feels good, it's always about, I don't think it's a general thing that it should
Mhm.
focus, that shouldn't focus. If it feels good, that's how the person knows that it's aligned with them. If it feels not good, you feel a lot of resistance coming up, then obviously don't. So then start
Mhm.
focusing on what you love doing, so you feel
Mhm.
that you are in alignment, and
Mhm.
then let it come to you in different ways. Now, you asking me now, I would say, now I know money is not coming from clients. Now I know that is not like the way I was seeing this before. It changed a lot, because now I see I am the creator of my reality. I am everything. The clients who are there are actually me. So I'm paying me. So how much I'm allowing, that's how much I'm going to be able
Mhm.
to create in the 3D. And then, of course, I invite clients so I invite the story of how the money shows up, but it's
Mhm.
always a reflection of my beliefs and my
Mhm.
allowing. But until we get to this understanding and this perspective, there's a lot of believing I'm here and then everything is out there,
Yeah.
and then I have to change, the out there. But there is no out there.
Yeah.
It's
I understand.
in
Understand.
here.
So understanding that, what you just were talking about, uh, is it okay to play around, experiment manifestations, like, I don't know, manifest a house, a car, or a boyfriend? Or should we only manifest in alignment with our higher self and with our destiny? What do you think?
Very good question. There comes to that question when people, because what you're actually asking, it feels like, do I get specific of with my desires, and which kind of feels more like coming from the ego, or do I allow my soul to create for me? And there is
Exactly.
no such a thing, right? So there is no coming from ego and coming from the soul, because everything is coming from you. You wouldn't be able to think about it if it wasn't on your path. It will if And now I know desires are coming from soul, no matter if you are feeling it in your head or it's like really something. If you see something that you think about, that you can see it, you can visualize, then you desire it, is absolutely there for you to experience. The question is, are you allowing it? Because that's
Mhm.
the only thing. And right now, what I believe, that our purpose is here as spiritual teachers, as ascended masters, as star seeds, as light workers in living these times and incarnating for these times. What I see my and our purpose is to remember who we truly are, which is an unlimited creator of our reality. And unlimited means unlimited for anything you want to experience as a human. So it's the human who stays in the way, because the more when you feel it and you desire it, that's coming from the soul, calling you towards that house, calling you towards it, because it's not the house, it's the experience of that house. It's the expansion. It's the freedom you want to
Mhm.
experience. Is that it's like, oh, this feels so amazing. It's the delight of living in that house. So
Mhm.
is that's what your soul is calling you towards, whether it's the car and you sitting in the car and you're allowing yourself to have the experience of that, or it's 50 million euros in your bank account because it feels just so good. That's why we are here, that get kind of we realize that there is everything else is just a story, and then we are here to really allow ourselves to experience everything that is in our, like everything we call our desire, without blocking it, without standing in its way, without coming up with story of why this is not okay, why we don't deserve, why this is not okay, why we are not worthy of this, why
Yeah.
this is not worthy of a spiritual
Yeah.
teacher. No, I believe we are here to
Mhm.
experience
Mm.
unlimited well-being,
Okay.
unlimited abundance, because it's all unconditional love. It's all
Yeah.
our light. So we came here as an example for that unlimited creation to flow through us as a channel, and then feeding with that into the collective potential of humanity, saying, no, you are here to allow, you are here to remember and allow everything that is coming to you, through you, to be experienced by you. And then that's how you expand. That's how your soul is growing and expanding, by you allowing that calling to be experienced by your human part.
So that's quite interesting. So if I summarize, it's like trust. Everything that is coming through you is part of the experience, and just trust and experience it, right?
Exactly. But that's
Yeah.
where the thing comes in, like, yeah, but because
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
then patterns, you have
Yeah.
limitations,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have, like, yeah, different stories that are
Yeah.
running, that is part of who you think you are. So that's kind of staying in your way, but that's why
Yeah.
we are here, to recognize them and realize that we have a choice. That's not who we are. That's a story we have been telling ourselves, but you can tell a different one at any moment.
Yeah. So, what is one key tip you would like to give to the viewers about manifesting their desires?
Is It's a very good question. And before I give the tip, I just really want to clarify
Mhm.
what manifestation really
Yes.
means.
Mhm.
Because what we believed, I believe manifestation is controlling my reality, is manipulating it with my mind. It was controlling in a way that it does what I want it to do, that
Mhm.
I get from the universe my wantings and my
Mhm.
needings. And that's why it the when I was doing that was when it never happened. Because
Mhm.
manifestation, and the true definition of manifestation, is internally shifting to a point where you are not anymore emotionally dependent on seeing your reality change, or seeing your reality to be any different than it is, meaning you are good with that and you are good without that, which is very difficult, because
Yeah.
99% of the time we want to manifest out of lack, out of not having it.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So that's why it's not working, because the
Mhm.
desire, why desire shows up, is because you want to feel better than you feel right now. So
Mhm.
you feel worry, right? And then you are like, oh, if I had 50,000 in my bank account, I could finally, be carry free of, or be worry less, or just feel safe finally. But, that 50,000, if you think that makes you safe, but you are continuously in insecurity, and that's what you're giving out, the lack, that's never going to be, you're never going to be to a match to that what you desire. And that's the biggest realization of 2024
Mhm.
for me, to realize that there's nothing out there. The only Everything that I want is inside of me. So when I can finally give myself permission without any condition to be met outside of me, to feel the way I want to feel right here, right now, to feel the unconditional love towards myself, to give myself permission to feel the joy, the playfulness, the freedom in this moment without being tied to anything in the future, then everything can happen and come to you and out of the blue without you lifting a finger, because now you are so good that absolutely nothing could make you happier or more free or more abundant than you feel right here, right now. So then what happens? You don't really want the 50 million because you already feel so safe and playful and free. So that will come to you without you doing anything, because now you're like, yeah,
Mm.
whatever.
Mhm.
So the tip is really, how about coming into, yeah, whatever, like I don't give a fig, and really being so focused on you just giving yourself permission to feel the way you want to feel, that you tied to that desire in the future that it's never going to come, to understand that it's all about you giving yourself permission right here, right now, to feel the way you want to feel no matter what.
Yeah.
And then allow the universe to either to match you up in any way that wants to match up that vibration that you are feeling
Mhm.
right now.
Mhm. So the danger, not the danger, but the consequence is like you feel that good. You are not, you are independent of everything. So the things you wanted to manifest, you don't want them anymore because you're like, whatever. It comes
Whatever.
that way, I'm fine, I'm happy. Whatever it comes that way, I'm happy.
And
Who
that's
cares?
ultimate freedom. That's ultimate freedom, because why people are keep chasing things outside of them, saying I'm only going to be free
Mhm.
or happy or whatever when I get this or that, or make this amount of money,
Mhm.
or I have that specific person with me, or I am, I can have this amount of, I make 10,000 more per month or whatever. It's a not enough. It's always coming from not
Mhm.
enoughness. Like I cannot be enough until I do this or unless I
Yeah.
have that. And this is a never ending recipe for ongoing suffering forever, basically, because there's always going to be more. There's always going to be a better or a bigger or a different person or a better whatever or a better body or a,
Yeah.
so it's that illusion that the mind is creating all
Yeah.
the time. So the moment you realize there's nothing for you out there that needs to be chased, because you can give it to yourself right now,
Yeah.
right here, and then just be the way you want to be,
Mhm.
completely disregarding your 3D reality. Your 3D
Yeah.
reality is going to match up your
Mhm.
internal reality,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
always been like that, by the way.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that's how we change the world, right? So this is the crazy thing. That's why we came. We came to realize that the 3D is our reflection. So the moment you make peace within
Mhm.
you, there's going to be peace outside of you. The moment you
Mhm.
make abundance be an internal thing, then abundance is going to be your out external reality as well.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's
Mhm.
true for well-being. The moment you can accept the body and take yourself off the hook, and you can just
Mhm.
be feel whole and complete with that body that you have, and just feel the expression of beauty in what you have, and knowing that it's expression of God, all of a sudden you don't want to change anything, so you feel so good. So finally your body has the opportunity to to change. This is
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. And about it's for inspiration for the spirit teachers looking at us today. Um, how do you best teach and guide people on their spiritual path?
Well, I always talk about empowering. Like I always talk about what I've just talked about, on recognizing that they're to, and this is something that's happening collectively anyway. The more we are now going and expanding, and our consciousness is rising, we are realizing that for basically our whole entire life we were identifying with that story of the self, And now all of a sudden we started to feel that there is something else behind it. And many of us had, especially in 2024, a lot of these either small or shorter, longer experiences where we felt that we are not the identity, that we could see it from outside, we could see it from a different perspective, that you could, then now you have a choice. And this is what many of us started to experience. This is what I am teaching. I'm teaching my community to realize that they are not their identity. Their identity, the story they're telling themselves, the beliefs, the emotions, the actions, and everything that comes as a reflection of that is just a story. It's an illusion that they were kind of running as a character, but they can choose a completely different version right here, right now. And if I can see these versions of me or identities, then the question is, who am I? Who is in the middle? If I can see them, right? So all of a sudden it comes like, yeah, I am in the middle, right? I am in the middle. Awareness is in the middle. So if I can see all these identities, I can choose. And that's what I teach more and more, to realize that you have all the power in the world, that you can choose to have a different story, which creates a different reality, that you can choose to say, I am healthy, and then just assume you are healthy and allow it to unfold. And so to take off our focus from what's not going well, and realizing that we are telling a story that it just keep recreating the same thing we don't want to experience, and change the story. Change the story you're telling them yourself. Start telling the story of what you want to create, and then allow yourself to play with it, to feel it, and then use some amazing affirmations during the day that you really identify with, not just like, these
Yeah.
robotic affirmations, but one too that really brings you again and again in this new identity or new version of you. And then just realizing that yes, there's going to be the old as well there, but you also have the new one. And then not being able to choose and not automatically identify with the old beliefs, and not really, like, it's not giving a fig anymore about the thoughts that are coming, the beliefs, but you can say, hey, like, who is saying that? Like, no, thank you, like, I'm not buying into that shit anymore. That's the freedom. That's how we're going to be able to come more and more uh, into identifying and living and being so easy to now be the new version, because we don't buy anymore into that. So
Yeah.
what I teach is really this awareness and presence.
Okay. So how do you rewrite a story? Are you just accompanying the people with a group coaching? Are you utilize, do you have different techniques, a setup, I guess? Just shortly, briefly for our viewers, just
Yeah.
to
Well,
feeling it.
I have two communities. One is a free membership, which called Manifesting Like a Master. And there is another community, which is a membership, a monthly paid membership. And that's where we go a lot deeper. Both of them, like the free one, you can also access the moment you join. Some masterclasses, workshops. I also do Q&A every week, so you can connect with me and ask your questions. But in the paid one is where I have the ability to coach you in person, well, in the group, to actually bring you through processes, to bring you through a breakthrough. I teach very specifically based on the challenges of the people. It's a very cozy group of light workers and teachers, and it's where you access right away 30 plus videos on teachings and masterclasses and workshops, all about projection, visualization, how to really use the power of who you are, your words and your imagination. And then that's basically, your words is your story, right? And your imagination is who you are. That's how you create your reality. And then how to get out of the way. That's the third step. And then there's some processes. I don't use any more techniques and methods. I've learned a lot, but I realized that the majority of them is just keeping you stuck in the
Mhm.
story of the
Mhm.
identity.
Mhm.
So I choose to teach very, very little things, and most of them are about recognizing that you are identifying
Yeah.
with the story. This is not
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
it's keep stepping back, keep stepping back, keep stepping back,
Yeah.
and that's I also do one-on-one coaching, where obviously it's very more powerful to work one-on-one. That's very
Mhm.
fast as well, because what I do is just mirroring back the
Yeah.
stories, and I'm like, why am I saying that? Why do I say? Well,
Mhm.
because the more you say it, so it becomes your reality. So you change your story, it changes your
Yeah.
reality,
Yeah.
and that's powerful. Yeah.
So that's empowerment, actually. Yeah. So I will add in the comments for the viewers your link if they want to join your community
Yeah, it's
as
all on my
the
website. So when you add
yes,
it, my name, agneslukacs.com, and then they can see all the memberships and everything. And yeah, it's
perfect,
very cool.
perfect. I have two questions more, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, I have an interesting question. I don't know why, but this question is keeping coming back to me. This is the power of sexuality and spirituality. What are your thoughts on the power of spirituality? Um, how do you feel it's connected to our spiritual power?
Wow. Yeah, that's, I think, alone on this question, we could spend like at least one
Yeah,
hour to talk about this.
yeah,
I have a very, very personal story to this. I did not have an orgasm until I was 27. So I had a few stories that I was telling myself based on the my early experiences. And because I had some early experiences that were not good, I started to tell the story that this is not for me. That is something
mhm,
that I don't like. I don't want. I don't want
mhm,
to have anything to do with this. So let's kind of like get over this quick,
mhm.
so we can just do other things. And of course, the moment I started to create these stories, I started to attract these kind of experiences.
Of course.
Um, so eventually, I attracted someone I really, really liked, and I was willing to go on therapy and see how can I stop, um, how can I open up, because I was very, very closed, and not allowing anything to happen, not allowing pleasure, and all of that. And I went for almost a year and nothing happened. And then one day he broke up with me, and that day I felt there was so much emotion there, so much disappointment and anger, like I've done everything I could and now I'm abandoned, because I am not enough. And that day we had this, last breakup sex type of thing, and I was so angry. I said to my body, you going to have orgasm today. And I put everything, like all these anger and everything, fueled into this passionate love making. And I had, for the first time, like, I break through that, the story that this is not working for me, and I had my first orgasm. And after that, it just went from basically zero to like multiple, and then after that it's just like expanding into more and more and more. And the latest, with the partner that I had, we were able to go into levels of connection that I've never had in my whole entire experience, levels of soul connection, body connection, um, and I would complete bliss, complete connection with the divine, which I've only heard before that it's available. And and it was like, so based on my own experience, coming from the other extreme, to complete negation and denial, to complete allowing of what's possible, and allowing these divine light to come through us while we are in full connection and allowing, and allowing the bodies to do their job, kind of getting out of the way. And we had amazing experiences. and it's truly bliss and connection. And that's why, if you ask me why is it taboo, why it was um, taken away or
Mhm.
considered a sin, because you have direct connection to God, to who you are, to the part of you who is unlimited, and you are able to experience that in the moment of that connection, unless you are, it's distorted. And that's very important thing to talk about, that I've worked with a lot of clients who had a lot of distortion in sexual type of body, actually in the body, trauma, and or even like, it doesn't have to be sexual trauma, it can be any type of not
Mhm.
feeling safe, because that's the root chakra, right? So everything that is related about unworthiness, not feeling safe. If you're not feeling safe, you're not able to allow and to open up as a flower. So
And
it's a
go,
work.
right?
It's
To let
work.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a work to feel safe. It's a work to trust the
Mhm.
other person, trust your body.
Mhm.
um, so yes, I've seen a lot of these and work with women who had a lot of trauma and blocks and limitations, but it's very beautiful when they start to make peace with their body and start loving and unconditionally loving everything about them, and every part of their body, and really trusting themselves, trusting other people, trusting men. So there's a lot of things we also bring from ancestors, like trauma from
Yeah.
ancestors. As I see that, we can, but it's beautiful, absolutely possible, and I believe that that type of connection and pleasure is is something that when we are able to allow that, we know why it was a taboo, because it takes you to completely out of your body, out of your mind, and to into that oneness and bliss and unlimited experience of who you truly are.
Yeah.
And that's not control. I mean, you are
Yeah.
not any more controllable when you have an experience like that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Mm. And I want to talk as well about one topic. So thank you for this. This is really interesting and sharing your personal your experience as well. So because I think this is an important topic and a lot of people are not talking about it because of conditioning and maybe because, like you said, traumas. So it's good for people to have inspiration about that and sharing and being open to let it go as well. Uh, One thing I would like to, it's not about the topic of sexuality, but more the topic of miracle. You were talking about creating new life stories. I mean, for me, it's part of the miracle, right? If you get into that state, it's for me part of the miracle. But would you like to share the most inspiring or maybe craziest miracle that has happened in your life, just to show viewers that miracle has more possible than we ever can imagine?
Yeah. Well, first of all, miracle is nothing outside of you. You are the miracle.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so a story that I'm going to share is showing the power. First of all, we have to come down and come back from 3D, because there's a lot of people waiting for a miracle, but you are the one who is creating the miracle. So understanding that, I'm going to share a story the way I did it without knowing what I'm doing. And it was back when I was having an inflammation, a chronic inflammation. And of course, like everybody else, it was related to the feminine area, by the way. um, and and then I was going to the doctors like everybody else, started looking outside there for solutions. So I went to every type of specialist and nobody could help me. um, and that day, actually, I was at the doctor's office waiting for my turn. And the day before, I had bought the secret book, the book The Secret, right, in
Mhm.
2006. And I was reading it, and I got to a point where it said, you can change your reality right here, right now, by saying and declaring what you desire as it being like that, and really allowing it to feel the emotion of the completion, the emotion of the fulfillment of that
Mhm.
declaration, or something like that, right? And I was like, what? And I remember that I was so sick and tired of this state of always going to doctors and doctors and
Mhm.
suffering of this thing. I remember that that completely gave me the permission to say, oh, I can choose. Like that was this kind of like alignment. Like, I
What?
can choose. So I remember that I shot the book and I said, I am healthy, like with so much conviction, of emotional conviction, that I am freaking healthy. And I felt this like, huh. And I remember that I walked into the doctor's office and I didn't really care anymore what he was saying, because I knew I'm healthy. I did not need anymore any feedback from anyone outside of me, because I knew I am healthy, because I have just chosen that. So I remember I went home, like he gave me a receipt and I just put it in the bin right after I got out. I went home and everything that reminded me of my earlier state, I put it in the bin, took it down, and I'm like, I'm done with this shit. And from that moment on, all my symptoms were gone. And my symptoms were daily things. Like every day I was
Mhm.
being faced with the problem, because I was always itching and always burning and always like, it wasn't, I didn't get a rest, and it was just gone forever. And since then, ever, never, ever
Mhm.
had anything like that. So of course it felt like a miracle after 4 years of suffering.
Yes.
I was like, what the heck just happened? And then I was very doubtful. I was like every day checking in and was like, that's weird. Like, I don't feel anything. That's weird. It's not burning. That's weird. And then after like 2 weeks, I finally accepted. I was like, I think this is gone for good.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
took
Mhm.
me 15 years now to see what the heck I actually did. And this is what I'm teaching now. You always have the choice to choose what you want, to choose what you desire, but you really have to do it with so much conviction,
Yeah.
knowing that you are the creator, that saying, because you are the miracle, you creating the miracle by choosing and allowing and aligning with this
Mhm.
and saying, this is who I am and I don't give a fig about anything else, and this is so, and done. And basically, if you are able to come, no matter what is the emotion that is fueling it, like being sick and tired of the or what you've been creating so
Mhm.
far in any area of your life, health, relationships, money, and then you get like, I'm done, like I'm freaking done. I am rich, I am wealthy, I am abundant, and that's what it is. No matter what, I'm done, this is who I am. And then you move on from that moment with a conviction that this is who you are, without any doubt.
Mhm.
Then your reality has no choice but to reflect back who you are now. So that's why my reality reflected back, you are healthy, of course. And it was instant, right? So it feels miracle because it's instant.
Yes.
But I've seen so many things like that since then, and I've done it for myself, and then million times where I couldn't do it for myself. And I was like, why the heck? Like, what's the difference between being able to create something like that as a miracle, and then doing so many times and trying so many times and it
Yeah.
doesn't happen?
Yeah.
It's because, and I realized why, because first I just declared without wanting to have a proof. Like, I declared it without waiting from outside proof to tell me that I'm healthy.
Mhm.
I said I'm healthy, and that's what I said. So this
Mhm.
is how it is. And the majority of the times I'm like, I'm going to wait until someone confirms me
Mhm.
from outside
Mhm.
that I'm right. But I'm
Mhm.
creating the outside. So it is just crazy. So oftentimes, will you have to really choose, declare what you want, and that's what talking about the story. You choose the story, and you,
Yeah.
when you are sick and tired, you can say, "I am loved. I am freaking enough, no matter what." Like I stop running the old story and start living as if this was my new. So this is what we call law of assumption, right? So you
Yeah.
assume that this is how it is.
Yeah.
That's it. Sometimes it works after one assumption, and then boom, it works and it appears in your reality either that day or in 2 days or a week. And sometimes you need more work because you have more resistance, which is amazing. But it's all on you. You are the one who's creating the miracle.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a quote, a sentence, or maybe a feeling you would like to share with our viewers? Um, Maybe a manifestation, affirmation, something you would like to share at the end of the interview with our viewers that is important for you.
Yes. And I'm not going to say to share anything that it's mind based. What I would share is to prioritize your state of being, because that is everything, that it's the portal to everything you desire is your state of being. And the way you prioritize that, yes, you can have affirmations and you can do all those things, but what is even more important is to spend every day 15 minutes or 20 minutes or as long as you have in just sitting silently without doing anything, no agenda, no
Mhm,
nothing really. Just sit
mhm,
there with just either just be, allow
mhm.
your thoughts to be processed, just observe how they just going crazy. It is fine. So to realize that they don't mean anything, the best thing you can do for yourself, because this is how you can start creating space between who you truly are and the story that's running. So you are not going to start buying into your thoughts anymore, the emotions. So you're going to just laugh at them, because you realize that's not who you are. It's not true. So you are able to start just be feel good at every moment, regardless of what's going on outside of you, because you stop identifying with what's outside of you. So you become that basically Buddha, um,
Mhm.
person, the awareness of who you are, and you are not anymore engaged with all the human things of chasing and wanting and needing and going and pushing and figuring out and,
Yeah.
and doing all these things that just, and all the stress and the worry and the fear and the drama. You are out of that the moment you realize that that's not who you are. And the best, the fastest way to get there is to give yourself those 15-20 minutes per day to get off your mind, to get out of the story, to just sit in silence. And if you could just, you can say affirmation, but what I would really recommend, one that it helped me so much, is I am an expression of God, or expression of the divine. I am unconditional love. And just sit with those words. And if you want, you can repeat them. I'm an expression of God. I'm an expansion of the divine source, God, whatever is the word you use. And just allow that to be your truth. Like, allow it to see how your body just feels with that. Allow these words, because there's actually just a vibration in words, but it's vibration. So allow this vibration to expand in your heart, to expand in your body, that there's nothing for me to do. It's another thing, very good thing. There's nothing there for me to do, because I am unconditional love. I'm an expansion, an expression of the divine. And then that creates a lot of space and a lot of allowing
Mhm. Mhm.
um, in you. And you get off this, like, there's something I need to do in order to have that, feel that you have nothing to do. You are here to remember who you are, and that's who you are.
There is nothing more for me to do because I am an expression of the divine.
Yeah.
I love it. This is a good one for me as well. Agnes, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and experience with us today. Dear spiritual seekers, I hope this interview has inspired you. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share them with us, with me, and with Agnes. We will be happy to answer. I'm creating a series of episodes about the experience of being a spiritual teacher on Earth. So if you are a spiritual teacher yourself and would like to share your experiences and mystical secrets, I'd love to hear from you. See you later, guys. Bye.